3 Signisuits requiring 5 copies to unlock their full grid. 2 Spotlight Scouts, one a lot more questionable than the other. And aside from everyone here in the screen, we got 3 more limited time sync pairs. What the heck? In this video, we discuss who you should prioritize and who you should probably skip. So with that out of the way, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as it really helps with the channel. Subscribe if you haven't, especially if you've been watching my videos for the longest time. And let us begin. Cue the intro. Yo, yo, yo! This is Sol, also known as Spielgum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt, the artist Team Skull Grunt, and this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, first of all, thank you so much for all the love that you have showered in my last 2 Pokemon Masters videos, as well as thank you once again for 9,000 subscribers. We are on our way to 10K. I'm glad that the numbers are going up quite quicker than normal. But hopefully we get to 10K because I have a couple of Pokemon Center giveaways for you guys and I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited for that as well. And I hope maybe, you know, who knows, maybe one of you will be able to win that. Maybe more of you will be able to win some. And yeah, that's basically it. So this is our analysis video. I did a very quick first impressions video of these guys earlier on, but this one we talk about them a lot more in depth. So we have 3 Signisuits who are limited over here. We have Signisuit Hilda, we have Signisuit Hilbert, and we have Signisuit N. The 3 of them are Pokefair Scouts, and as you might know, Pokefairs nowadays, the new Pokefairs have 5 out of 5 grids. Again, you do not need the 5 out of 5 things. You do not need the 4 out of 5 things. In fact, some of you might argue that you do not need 2 copies, 3 copies, you just need 1. But you know, the more copies you get, the more you unlock tiles on their grid, the better they become. But how much better do they become? We will analyze that here. And thankfully, there's no Master Fair yet because Master Fairs probably will be much more difficult to get 5 copies of. So, I have reserved my thoughts. I said I'm gonna make a video of my thoughts about the 5 out of 5 grids. I think now that we've seen this month, the second month's 5 out of 5 requirements, I think I will be able to do that now with a clearer mindset. But anyway, guys, we got 2 more Spotlight Scouts. We have Hugh over here and we have Colress. And interesting thing is that none of the sync pairs that we receive for this month, at least for the scoutable ones, are supports. Hilda, Strike, Hilbert, Tech, Buffalant, Hugh, Strike, N is a Tech, Colress is a Tech. So no support sync pairs, only Strikers and Tech sync pairs. And everyone, interestingly, ends on December 2, which makes me worried. What is up on December 3 or December 2 next month? Because normally, you know, the new sync pairs always have, for example, some end on December 2, some end on December a lot later. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, guys, this is the very first month ever in the game that all the sync pairs that have been released, the main sync pairs, end on the exact same day. Let me know if there are any other sync pairs that have, any update in the past that has something like this. Every single one, Pokefair, Spotlight, ends on December 2. And you might argue again there are more sync pairs to come, but we will discuss that later on. But for the Unova Arc sync pairs, everyone ends on December 2. October 31 for Hilda, November 2, that's 2 days apart. for Hilbert. November 7, that's 5 days apart for Hugh. Then November 14 for Signisut N. And 3 days apart, November 17 for Colres. Alright, that said, let us begin with analyzing each one. Starting with Signisut Hilda and Victini over here is a fire type sync pair. And this is a very, should I say, in my quick analysis, quick impressions, I said that this one is probably the most powerful one out of the bunch. You have low HP with very high attack stat and very high special attack stat. And at the start of the battle, you immediately maximize your attack stat with Fierce Entry 6 passive skill, which basically raises your attack stat +6. And every single time you attack an opponent, either by using Searing Shot, Confusion, or V-Create, you get to recover 1 move gauge. So it's a move gauge refresh 9 for every single one of its attacking moves. Downside up applies to V-Create is basically when the stats get lowered, you raise your stats instead. This applies to either your own attacks, your own side effects, or the opponent's debuffs against you. So every single time you use V-Create, instead of lowering your defense, special defense, and speed, you get to raise your defense, special defense, and speed instead. And then you got For the Win, your trainer move. What this does is maximizes your critical hit rate, and then it basically raises your special attack stat the same level, the same numbers as how your attack stat is raised. And as you might know, you start off with +6 attack stat. So For the Win basically maximizes your special attack stat as well, which is good because Searing Shot is a special attack and V-Create is a physical attack. Searing Shot hits everyone, V-Create hits 1. V-Create raises your stats, Searing Shot basically has a 30% chance of leaving the targets burned, and it hits everyone instead of just hitting one opponent. So very high attack stat and very high special attack stat. You're going to deal practically similar damage, but then V-Create's base power is stronger than Searing Shot. And you know, there's the penalty of AoE attacks. Let's not get into that deeply. But one V-Create is basically stronger than Searing Shot, is what I'm saying. And then you got Confusion, just in case, you know. I said in the past that I really dislike sync pairs that only have 4 move gauge attacks because they're pretty slow. Although her speed stat is pretty decent, 400 stat, especially if you 6-star EX her. So I'm glad that they included Confusion so that when your move gauge is charging, you cannot do anything. You can just use Confusion, and then you recover 1 move gauge instantly because of recharging Strike 9. So you got Infinite Energy V-Create as the sync move, and then you got what else? Basically, that's it for her kit. And she is a striker. That means if you decide to 6-star EX her, she will be able to hit everyone instead of just one opponent. Now at 1 out of 5, just scout for her, you do not get any multipliers. And as you might know, sync pairs get better with multipliers. So let's talk about her multipliers right now. With her sync grid, 1 out of 5 you get Clear-Headed and Flame Proof. 2 out of 5 you start to get the multipliers Burn Synergy 1. If the opponent is burned, you get to deal stronger damage, around 10 to 20% stronger. And how do you burn the opponent? Searing Shot, 30% chance. You got For the Win, Hit and Heal 9 when you use For the Win. You get to have a regen effect. For the Win, MP Refresh 2, get to whatchamacallit. You get to recover 1 MP, and I forgot to mention that For the Win also raises everyone's accuracy in your team. So you can probably raise your accuracy stat by using For the Win more than once. So Unflappable, Cannot Flinch, and then you got 1 Sync Nuke power up at 2 out of 5. At 3 out of 5 is where the bulk of the multipliers come in. You got Confusion, Aggravation 9, so that if the opponent When you use Confusion, instant confuse opponent. You got Confusion Synergy 2 powers up your attacks if the opponent is confused. You got For the Win Empowering Command, which gives you a physical moves up next and a special moves up next effect, which powers up either your Confusion or Searing Shot, or for the physical side, V-Create by 40% with each stack of physical moves up next / special moves up next. And then one of the best multipliers out there, you got the Rising Tide. The stronger or the higher your stats are, the stronger your sync move is gonna be. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the limit to this is plus 21. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, you know, you get to... This is how fast you get to power her up. You got Fierce Entry 6, plus 6 attack stat. You use For the Win. You get plus 3 critical hit rate. That's plus 9 already. And plus 6 special attack stat. That's 9 plus 6 equals 15. And then you got plus 1 accuracy. 16 total. Plus 16 stats. Every single time you use V-Create, you add 3 stats. So 16 plus 3, 19. And then you use another V-Create. You got the maximum multipliers for Rising Tide if the limit is actually plus 21. I'm sorry. So yeah, very easy to power her up. Very quick with the Rising Tide. Scorching Sync 5, if the opponent is burned, you get to land 50% stronger Sync Nuke damage. And then you got Searing Shot, super duper effective 3 if the opponent is burned. Searing Shot will deal stronger damage. Super Sync 9, after you use your Sync move every single time, you get to have a super effective up next effect. So if the opponent is weak to fire, you use your Sync move, the next turn you will get a stronger either V-Create or Searing Shot, or probably if the opponent is weak to Psychic, you decide to use Confusion, that makes it stronger. Something like that. Or, you know, you can save this for the next Sync move. After you use your Sync move using Signusuit Hilda, you can just stick on using Confusion, save the Super Sync 9, save the super effective up next, so that your next Sync move, you get Rising Tide, Scorching Sync 5, and the super effective up next, making her insanely powerful. And then you get 3 Sync Nuke tiles for 3 out of 5 as well. But now, we go to the excessive stuff. The stuff we don't need. 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. The stuff for whalers. Haiyah. 4 out of 5, you get Hostile Environment 3, which basically multiplies the chances of burning the opponent by 3, I guess. So it's 30% right now of leaving the target burned. So basically getting Hostile Environment 3 will practically almost all the time probably burn every single opponent if you use Searing Shot. And then Team Precision Strike 9, every single time you successfully hit an opponent, you get to raise everyone's accuracy stat plus 1. Which I guess is good because, I don't know, it's not exactly necessary. I mean, how many opponents are there that evade, that are very evasive anyway? So this is optional, but if you decide to get this, then good for you. 5 out of 5, you get Propulsion 9 every single time you use. For the win, you get to lower your sync move countdown -1. Again, for the win is only 1 MP, but if you get an MP refresh, then that's good. This is unnecessary in my opinion, completely unnecessary for Propulsion 9. But you get Sundering Burn 9, which is very interesting and quite good. When the opponent is burned, you attack the opponent, you get to lower their defense or special defense, or both. You know, there's something better than Sundering Burn 9. It's Sundering 9, and a couple of sync pairs have this. One of the most popular sync pairs that has this is Signusuit Leaf. Every single time you attack an opponent, you get to lower your defense or special defense or both. So, you know, I question why not give her Sundering 9 instead but give her Sundering Burn 9 instead. But that's the logic of DNA. That's how they want to attract you to get 5 copies of Signature Hilda. And that's that. That was Signature Hilda. Quite strong. A striker with more than 2 multipliers. If you are able to land or wait for Super Sync, that's super effective up next. You got Rising Tide, Scorching Sync 5, and Super Sync 9. Very easy to trigger multipliers. Very high stats, honestly. And pretty balanced in terms of move gauge management. Because again, while Searing Shot and V-Create are slow for move gauge attacks, you got a Confusion so that when you need to recharge your move gauge, you can just use Confusion to, pass your turn. And you got Recharging Strike 9, which acts like a move gauge refresh 9. Very quick to build that up. Aside from that, you are pretty defensive. Even with low defenses, downside up just raises your defense stats whenever you use V-Create. So that's good, I guess. And now we're moving to the next one with Signature Hilbert and Genesect. This is a very, very, very gimmicky sync pair in my opinion, which probably is a good thing. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about Signature Hilbert. He has high special attack stat, 380, but not as high as Hilda, who reaches 500 something. So these stats are level 140, by the way. Texting pair with a lot of multipliers. Now Genesect is bug type, but changes in typing randomly. You got Metal Sound, which lowers the opponent's special defense -2, targets one opponent. Techno Blast changes in type depending on the opponent's weaknesses. I think this applies every single time you use Techno Sound, every single time you attack an opponent. So if the opponent is weak to fire, Techno Blast, you target the opponent, it becomes a fire type. If it's weak to water, Techno Blast becomes water type. If it's weak to electric, then it becomes electric. If the opponent is weak to ice, then it becomes ice type. I'm not sure if it will change back to bug type. I'm not sure if it's actually a permanent thing. Or is it just there, acting as a normal type attack? Then if you target one opponent, it will go, or rather, it starts off as a bug type attack because of bug shift. It's always bug type. You attack a fire type weak opponent, it becomes fire type temporarily, goes back to bug type. Or is it bug type, then you attack a fire type weak opponent, it becomes fire type permanently until you attack someone else that is weak. I don't know, guys. I honestly don't know. This is a new mechanic. Let me know what you think, how this works. Does it stay as a bug type then temporarily change, or does it permanently change it to one type until... The easiest way to see this is probably have an opponent that's weak to both, 2 opponent, 1 weak to bug, 1 weak to fire, or any of the things, and see if it actually changes back to a bug type attack. But that got Hilbert's aim. And every single, or rather, the first time you attack an opponent, when the target's weakness is either fire, water, electric, ice, or bug, lowers the target's type rebuff of that type by 1 rank the first time the user's attack move against that target is successful in battle. So, you either use Metal Sound is an attack move. I think it is considered. So if the opponent is weak to either fire, water, electric, ice, bug, you attack the opponent either Metal Sound or Techno Blast. The opponent gets a rebuff of that particular type. And for those who don't know rebuffs yet, you got positive and negative rebuffs. Let's not talk about positive rebuffs for now because there's no mechanic about positive rebuffs yet. But you get to lower negative rebuff. And the lower the opponent's rebuff is, the stronger the type of attack is against that opponent. So lowered fire type rebuff for the opponent means stronger damage for fire type moves. Lowered electric type rebuff means if you hit the opponent using an electric type attack, your electric type move becomes stronger. That's basically what you just have to think about, and nothing very complicated like that. Rebuffs max out at -3 or +3. So with Hilbert's aim, you get to lower the rebuff -1. You got Dire Hit Plus, you should know what this is. And Perfect Aim, you can use this twice. Basically, after using this twice, you get to maximize your special attack stat, as well as give yourself a super effective up next effect, which makes your Techno Blast stronger, or your bug type sync move becomes stronger. I do not think Hilbert's aim affects the sync move, but if it does, then awesome, but I don't think it does. Aim for Victory Bug Buzz, the lower the opponent's special defense is, the stronger the attack is. And how do you lower the opponent's special defense? By using Metal Sound. This is a tech sync pair. That means if you use a sync move against an opponent, if you have him 6-star EX, the sync move is gonna be multiplied by 1.5 times damage. So stronger sync move, but only hits one opponent. And so, now we move on to the sync grid as usual. This is another Pokefair. This again has a 5 out of 5 grid. But at 1 out of 5, you get Escape Artist, Lithe, and Perfect Aim MP Refresh 2. By having Perfect Aim MP Refresh 2, you get an extra super effective up next. 2 out of 5, you get Bug Daunt 9. When you use a bug type move against an opponent, if the opponent is weak to bug type and you use Techno Blast, you get to lower their special attack stat -1. A lot of other things, you got Insect Crush 9. If the opponent is weak to water and you use Techno Blast, you get to lower their defense stat. If the opponent is weak to fire, use Techno Blast, you get to lower their attack stat -1. So pretty confusing. You probably need to have different grids for Signature Hilbert depending on which opponents you are fighting against. You got Dauntless, Dire Hit MP Refresh 2, you got Insect Acceleration. If the field is Bug Zone, who can build up Bug Zone? Special Costume, Ingo. It's a limited unit. If you missed him, then probably no Bug Zone at the moment unless the opponents can build up Bug Zone. Insect Power 1, if there's Bug Zone, gets stronger damage. Safety Tether, after using a sync move, you get an Endure effect. Super duper effective 1 powers up your Techno Blast if the opponent is weak to fire, water, blah blah blah. And at 3 out of 5, you get Brain Power. Basically, to maximize this one, you just have to use your Perfect Aim twice in order to maximize your special attack. And the higher your special attack stat is, the stronger Brain Power will make your sync move become. Brain Teaser, again, by using Metal Sound, you get to lower the opponent's special defense. And by lowering the opponent's special defense, the lower it is, the stronger your Techno Blast becomes. Bug Enigma 9, if the opponent is weak to Bug type, you use Techno Blast. Every single time you attack an opponent using Techno Blast, you get to lower their special defense -1. Earlier, Bug Daunt lowers their special attack. Bug Enigma lowers their special defense. Icy Touch 2, if the opponent is weak to ice type attacks, you get a 30% chance of leaving the target frozen if the opponent is weak to ice type attacks and you use Techno Blast. Metal Sound, Charging Infliction 2, when you use Metal Sound, basically you recover the move gauge you use when you use Metal Sound. Metal Sound Ripple Effect 9 is a good one. Every single time you use Metal Sound, instead of hitting one opponent, lowering one opponent's special defense -2, you get to lower everyone's special defense -2 instead. Static Brush 9, if the opponent is weak to electric type attacks and you use Techno Blast, you immediately leave the opponent paralyzed. You might be wondering why Icy Touch is not Icy Touch 9. It's It's because Frozen is an OP status condition. So probably they're just balancing it. Sad. Super Freebie 2, when you use a move that is the opponent is super effective against, you get a 30% chance of getting a free move next effect. And you got 2 Sync Nuke tiles for Signasu Tilbert over there at 3 out of 5. Now, for the unnecessary stuff. 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5. 4 out of 5, you get super slowing hit 9. If the opponent is weak against any of the types that we have mentioned earlier, you get to lower their speed stat -2. Nice. And then Team Sharp Entry 1, basically at the start of the battle, you get to raise everyone's critical hit rate +1. Now let me just look back and see if we can actually raise the critical hit. Yes, you have Dire Hit Plus for that. 5 out of 5, you get Multiplier. And this one is a nice multiplier, Cakewalk. The lower the opponent's speed stat is, the stronger your sync move becomes. And how do you lower the opponent's speed stat? Super slowing hit 9 at 4 out of 5. Again, unnecessary, but if you have this, it's a nice plus, nice bonus. You got a lot of multipliers, as you might see over here. If it's marked as red, that means it's a sync move multiplier. If it's marked as blue, it means it's a normal attack move multiplier. And if it's purple, it applies for both. So you got Hilbert's Aim, rebuff. At 5 out of 5, you get another Hilbert's Aim, which can lower the opponent's rebuff to either Fire, Water, Electric, Ice, Bug, -2 instead of -1 because of the passive skill, plus the 5 out of 5 tile. Again, unnecessary, but if you have this, pretty good. So that is Signasu Hilbert. I'd argue that probably his grid serves, 5 out of 5 grid serves a better purpose than Signasu Hilda's grid. But then, Signasu Hilda's grid gets to lower the opponent's defenses. But I feel that this is much better than Signasu Hilda's 5 out of 5 grid because of the multipliers that you get extra. So that's Signasu Hilbert. Again, weird sync pair who changes type depending on the opponent's weakness. I sure hope that we get a Libero Cinder Ace later on, or Libero Scorbunny, because now they're introducing these kinds of attacks. Hopefully, for Cinderace at least, the sync move changes the type depending on the last attack you use or something like that. So those are the two limited units of the first part of the Unova villain arc. This is the Spotlight Scout of the first part of the Unova villain arc. Some people, you guys have been saying, oh, I'm so, now what happened to Rosa? What happened to Nate? Maybe they'll appear in part 2. Well, news for you guys. Part 2 is Signisute N and Colores. But who knows? Maybe they'll introduce more later on. But Hue and Buffalent is the Spotlight Scout. And as you might know, Spotlight Scouts have a normal route. If you decide to scout for one copy immediately, I'd highly recommend you to just go for the paid route because it's cheaper and it assures you that you get one copy, and at the same time it gives you enough custom power-ups to make your Hue and Buffalent, you know, at least 20 out of 20 because you get 20 custom power-ups for Hue and Buffalent if you go for the paid route, and that's 7,500 paid gems. So, this one is a normal type striker. This is the second 6-star EXable normal type striker that we have. First one is actually Spring May, but then Spring May changes into fighting type as soon as you sync using her with her passive skill Sync Morph. She becomes a fighting type. This one he sticks to being a normal type until the end. We got a couple of normal types, not just the two of them. We got, whatchamacallit, we got Gladion, but then Gladion changes type. We got Eevee, but Eevee's a support. This one is a striker. That means you will never be able to hit the opponent's weakness because nobody is weak to normal type attacks. So what are the good things about him that make him your choice in using him for the nuke? Well, number one, normal type sync pairs have a stronger base power for their sync moves. Normally, other sync pairs have weaker base power, benefit from the multipliers, benefit from the opponent's weaknesses. This one just increases the base power a little bit, maybe a lot, and just, you know, that's your sync nuke or something like that. He has Headbutt, which has a 30% chance of making the opponent flinch. With Head Charge, which it's a recall attack, which you receive 25% damage. You got Dire Hit Plus, raises your critical hit, and I'll Take You On, which you can use once, raises your attack stat plus 4, raises your defense and special defense plus 2, and gives you a free move next. Then the sync move, no multipliers out there, but you have the passive skills, which act as multipliers. Got the Recoil Removal 4, which I honestly do not understand why this is not Recoil Removal 9. 50% chance of not receiving recoil damage. And you got the Reckless Boost 9, which powers up your Head Charge by almost double damage. As you might know, the stronger the attack is, the stronger the recoil damage. So if you're able to one-shot an opponent, a strong opponent using Head Charge, expect that you are going to one-shot yourself as well. So it basically powers up your recoil move, making it stronger, and the recoil damage you receive is much stronger. If recoil removal triggers, then you do not receive recoil damage. But if it does not trigger, you are almost guaranteed to either almost faint or faint, but dead. Once you faint, you got Hugh's Determination. You fully restore your HP when you faint. So it's like revive, instant revive. And this only triggers once. So this is not like Endure Effect. I think this is not Endure Effect. Like you have to pass through 1 HP, then you recover HP. You know, there's someone like this that's Signisuit Grimsley, full first aid. So when you reach low health, you get to recover everything back. This one, when you empty your health, you get to full recover. I think this triggers anytime. For example, if you're low on health, like 10% left, for full first aid, you get to recover immediately upon reaching like 25% or something like that. But this one, you can lower your HP to 1%. Then the moment you faint, you recover full HP. I think that's how it works. So you can receive lots of damage in between turns, and then once you faint, you get to recover HP. Strange, but that's how it works. And for this move, for the Sync Grid, you got Escape Artist and Headstrong for 1 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you got their Hit Plus MP Refresh. You got Grass Guard, weaker damage when the opponent hits you with grass type attacks. You got Healthy Healing for a regen effect at the start of the battle. I'll Take You On MP Refresh basically maximizes your attack stat, increases your defense and special defense plus 2 extra. And then free move next also. Natural Remedy basically removes status conditions for the very first time. Furious Brawn, the higher your attack stat is, the stronger your attack becomes. Haymaker, the stronger your attack stat is, the stronger your sync move becomes. Headbutt Aggravation 1 is a good thing. Instead of 30% chance of flinching an opponent, it becomes a 60% chance. I'll Take You On Mighty Boost 9. If you attack or if you use I'll Take You On, you get to increase your physical moves up next effect stack by 2. And every single stack, again, it's a 40% increase in damage. So plus 2 means an 80% increase in damage for either headbutt or head charge. And then the next one is an interesting thing. The first time you are low on health, I am not sure if this actually triggers when you faint. So I'm not sure if you use head charge, you faint, this triggers, then you recover HP again using Hugh's determination, or you just have to be low on health before this triggers. So this basically gives you a physical moves up next effect stack 5 stack. So 5 stack times 40 equals like a 200% increase in damage for a head charge or headbutt. So this is a weird sync pair. Completely RNG. In fact, we have an RNG sync pair in the past. Very RNG in the form of cosplay Guzma or special costume Guzma. This is even weirder than cosplay Guzma in my opinion. Because cosplay Guzma is fighting type, this one is normal type, and this one is just, well, reckless, as the passive skill says. Recuperation 2 recovers your HP by 40% when you use a sync move. Sharp Entry 1 raises your critical hit rate by 1 at the start of the battle. Sync Power Flux is another multiplier for the sync move, which basically the fuller your move gauge is, the stronger your sync move becomes. And 2 sync nuke tiles over there. That's you. Weird. Reckless. If you get to eliminate the recoil damage, then nice, lucky you. If you do not get to remove the recoil damage, well, F, goodbye. He does not have whatchamacallit, the one that reduces recoil damage, stand fast something. So you get to receive full recoil damage unless recoil removal triggers. So that's your Spotlight Scout, this first Spotlight Scout in this update. Now let's move back to the limited unit, Signasuit N and Curem. This one, we've been discussing how this actually works. But I think after reading this for several more times, I think this is how it works, guys. Freeze Shock is a 2-turn attack. You prepare first, and then you hit an opponent. Probably the easy way to discuss this is similar to how Kahili works with Beak Blast. You prepare first, you use Beak Blast one time, you get to charge up, and then you use Beak Blast for the second time, or if the opponent attacks you, it just triggers. Freeze Shock does not trigger when the opponent attacks you. So you prepare first, you use Freeze Shock once, and from there, you either use Freeze Shock again or use Be Noble Roar. So Be Noble Roar only activates, there's a buddy move for this one. It's locked. Be Noble Roar unlocks when you use Freeze Shock to prepare. And from there, once you use Freeze Shock, Be Noble Roar deactivates. Once you use Be Noble Roar, Freeze Shock deactivates as well. And Be Noble Roar deactivates at the same time. So, oh wait. Actually, guys, Be Noble Roar will not deactivate until it is used. So it says here, activation condition when the user gets ready to attack, and it will only deactivate when the move is used. Okay, never mind. That's much better. So you use Freeze Shock, and once you use Freeze Shock, Be Noble Roar activates. You can use Freeze Shock or Be Noble Roar depending on where you want. If you use Freeze Shock again, then Be Noble Roar is still there. You can use Be Noble Roar or Freeze Shock at any time. And then when Be Noble Roar is used, it gets to lower everyone's attack stat, special attack stat, and speed stat -2. As well as, it also gives you a super effective up next effect and a free move next effect to the user. It also gives you a plus 40% damage when you use Freeze Shock next. He is both a physical attacker and a special attacker. His sync move is a physical attack, his Freeze Shock is a physical attack, Ice Beam is a special attack. So, Freeze Shock, 30% chance of leaving the opponent paralyzed. It's a 4 move gauge attack. So by using B Noble Roar, so I guess this is how you want to use it. Use Freeze Shock against the opponent. Twice, probably. And then use B Noble Roar, give you a free move next. Use Freeze Shock again, because Freeze Shock will be free from there on. Ice Beam, 10% chance of leaving the opponent frozen. And then we got 1 MP for my formula. Raises your attack and special attack +4 and maximizes your critical hit rate. World Changing Freeze Bolt is his sync move, and the lower the opponent's attack stat is, the stronger your sync move becomes. How do you lower the opponent's attack? By using B Noble Roar 3 times. Passive skills, you got another sync pair that has Piercing Blows, ignores passive skills that lower the opponent's, or that lower damage that you inflict on the opponent. You got 2 Prepared 9. When you use Freeze Shock to attack the opponent, you get to lower your sync move countdown -2. Yes, which was conducted after leaving the counter-attacking posture or after getting ready to attack. Yeah, basically, after you use Freeze Shock to damage the opponent, you get to lower your sync move countdown -2. This actually also reminds me of like Signa-Suit Ethan, who was practically a similar thing. You have to use his trainer move first to attack, then attack the opponent, but then that's a 50% chance of lowering your sync move countdown. This is a 100% chance of lowering your sync move countdown, and it lowers your countdown -2 instead of -1. Hostile Environment 1 basically doubles the chances of inflicting status conditions. So it's a 60% chance. I think it's times 2, right? Or is it plus 20%, plus 10%? I'm not sure. Freeze Shock gets to paralyze the opponent a lot more likelier. And Ice Beam gets a higher chance of freezing the opponent with Hostile Environment 1. So that's Signa-Suit N and Kyurem's base kit. 1 out of 5, you get Anti-Freeze, Headstrong, and Snow Shelter. 2 out of 5, you get Comforting Heal. If it is healing, you do not lower your stats. Healing Hail, if it's healing, you get to recover HP. Ice Beam, super duper effective 9. Basically, if the opponent is weak to Ice Beam, then Ice Beam will multiply in damage, almost double. My Formula MP Refresh basically maxes out your attack and special attack stats. My Formula Ramp Up 1, well, I prefer MP Refresh for this one. Natural Remedy removes status conditions once they're inflicted to you for the very first time. Pinpoint Entry raises your accuracy stat. Quick Cure removes stat inflictions for the very first time. Hostile Environment 2 adds up to the Hostile Environment 1, which, if you get this, practically will paralyze the opponent much like almost all the time, and freeze the opponent a lot of the time. Again, you cannot freeze and paralyze the opponent at the same time. Keep that in mind. Demoralizing Sync 6. If the opponent's special attack is lowered by even -1, it will increase your sync move damage by around 60% stronger. Dirty Sync 6, if the opponent is either frozen or paralyzed, increases or multiplies your sync move damage by around 60% as well. Hasty Hail 3 speeds up the move gauge by a lot faster. It's 3, not 1, not 2. Head Start 1 reduces your sync move for the very first time at the start of the battle. My Formula Berserker, to honestly prefer MP Refresh again for this one. Piercing Gaze, your attacks will never miss. Sync Damage Guard, when you use your sync move for the very first time, you will get a damage guard next effect, which will halve the damage of the opponent's sync move or receive 0 damage from the opponent's normal attacks. And you get 2 sync nuke power-ups at 3 out of 5. This is a Pokefair Scout. And again, Pokefair Scouts now have 5 out of 5 tiles. Which are they necessary? 4 out of 5, you get Peak Readiness 9. Whenever you use your Freeze Shock to get to a prepared position, you get a physical moves up next effect, which will power up your Freeze Shock by 40% damage. That's Peak Readiness 9. Team Fast Track 9 speeds up everyone after you use any move that is either using Ice Beam, Freeze Shock. So it speeds up everyone every single time, which is okay. 5 out of 5, you got Soften Up 1. Which by getting this and by raising your critical hit rate, plus by using Dar Hit Plus, you are guaranteed to always land critical hits for the sync move. I don't wanna keep repeating that sync move, lower chances of landing critical hits. This is a sync nuker. This is a tech unit. You will definitely benefit from critical hits. So Soften Up 1 is very useful for this one. And then Ready for Anything is an interesting one. It basically gives you a damage guard next effect every single time. Well, you receive 50% less damage. So, if the opponent is gonna use a sync move against you, just use Freeze Shock, hold it there in your prepared position, and you will receive half damage. You'll also receive half damage, not 0 damage, from the opponent's attacks once you use Freeze Shock and the opponent attacks you. I like this one. This makes Signasuit N become defensive as well. You have to play him smartly in order to maximize this. But if you are able to play this well, you will definitely save yourself from getting killed most of the time. So that is Signasuit N. Interesting sync pair. Weird mechanic, but then pretty strong, pretty good. And do you need 5 out of 5 for this one? Well, compared to Signasuit Hilda, Signasuit Hilbert, I guess this is a nice 5 out of 5 is good for this one. I like Ready for Anything 5, it's good. I like Soften Up 5 or Soften Up 1 for 5 out of 5. It's good. Unnecessary, but it is good. So, let's move on to the last out of the bunch. You got Colress and Kling Klang, November 17 to December 2. And this is also a tech sync pair. This is a Spotlight Scout. Again, if you want one copy, then spend 7,500 pay gems to get one sure copy as well as 25-star power-ups, custom power-ups for him. Got Thunder Wave, you got Screech, you got Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot is the only damaging move against the opponent. 30% chance of lowering the opponent's accuracy stat. Screech lowers the opponent's defense and it hits everyone because of Ripple Effect 9, his passive skill, which if you are able to lower the opponent's stats, it hits everyone. It lowers the every single opponent's stats. So if Mirror Shot actually lowers the opponent's accuracy, everyone gets to lower their accuracy as well. For Science is his trainer move. I made a mistake and put Gonna Eat You Up. Let me edit that quickly. So for Science, gives you a move gauge acceleration and raises your defense and special defense +4. This is a weird sync pair. It's very defensive, which is weird for tech sync pairs because I don't see a lot of defensive tech sync pairs here. And this is more of a support in my... Well, his attack, he paralyzes the opponent, he lowers the opponent's stats. And then he raises everyone's critical hit rate with Team Critical Shock 9 if the opponent is paralyzed and you attack an opponent everyone gets their critical hit rate increased +1. Honor Roll 1 applies to Mirror Shot, raises the chances of lowering the opponent's accuracy -1. So, weird sync pair. Attack support combination unit. Pretty high defenses, pretty high stats, but Mirror Shot is weak. And if you did not know this, guys, Mirror Shot is a special attack, and his sync move is a physical attack. We had a similar sync pair to this one. It was Thornton. I think it was inverse for Thornton. Thornton's normal attack is a physical attack. Thornton's sync move is a special attack. So, similar case, weird. Why are steel types weird? Sus. 1 out of 5, you got Antitoxin and Sand Shelter. 2 out of 5, you got Dizzying Power. The opponent has their accuracy lowered. The lower their accuracy stat is, the stronger your... whatchamacallit? Your Mirror Shot becomes. For Science MP Refresh 2 maximizes your defense and special defense. Metallic Healing whenever you attack an opponent when it is a steel zone, which Palentine's Marnie can do this, I think. You get to recover some HP. Nerves of Steel if the opponent attacks you and their steel zone, you get to receive less damage. Pinpoint Entry at the start of the battle, you get to raise your accuracy stat +1. Catalyst speeds up the move gauge when you use your sync move for the very first time. Endurance gives you an Endure effect. Go Viral 9 when you use Thunder Wave. Every single opponent gets paralyzed instead of just one opponent. Okay. Infliction Freebie 9. When you use Thunder Wave, you get a free move next effect. And I think this also applies not just to Thunder Wave but also to Screech. So you get to get a free move next effect when you use either Thunder Wave or Screech, which is okay, I guess. But then you're not exactly a very, you know, strong eating move gauge thing. And right now I just realized that my call rest is glitching out. Just ignore that. Alright, we got Smokescreen Sync 2. Lowers the accuracy of all opposing sync pairs -2 when you use a sync move. When you use a sync move, you get to lower everyone's accuracy -2. Static Shock, if you use a sync move, if the opponent is paralyzed, you get to land almost double sync move damage. Team Sentry Entry raises the defense of everyone +2 at the start of the battle. Towering Force, the higher defense stat is, the stronger your sync move becomes. And 2 sync nuke tiles for call rest. Weird. I guess he's strong. He is strong for the sync move. Normal attacks will not be strong. Defensive sync pair. Weird, but let me know if, you know, he's just a Spotlight Scout. So you can probably skip this. I'd argue that there are better steel types out there. But you know, this is a steel type that's technically acts like a semi-electric type. So, how many steel type techs do we even have that can be 6-star EX? I am not aware. Suit, or rather Kimono Grimsty, is a steel type tech sync pair if I'm not mistaken. So let me just check steel type tech sync pairs. You got Kimono Grimsty, Palentine's Marnie, Thornton. That can be 6-star EX. Palentine's Marnie, very strong sync pair. Already physical attacker. This is a physical attacker, so do you need this? Probably not. So, those are the 5 major sync pairs that are coming in this update. Again, everyone ends on December 2 with Signusuit Hilda coming first, followed by, you know, these guys on their respective dates. And if we move on to their stats, you can see over here that Signature Hilda, despite having the lowest HP stat, she has the highest attack stat, highest special attack stat, and highest speed stat. And also despite having the lowest, she has the highest and lowest in mostly everything. Hugh is the slowest one. Signature Hilbert is the lowest in terms of special attack, but then that's still pretty high. Colress is the highest defense and special defense, but the lowest attack stat. Signature N is somewhere in between. And stats are not everything. So let's move on and check out their multiplier. Would you look at Signature Hilbert? That's a lot of sync move multipliers. Rain Power, the higher the special attack is. Built-in, I think that's Smarty Pants. The lower the opponent's special defense is, the stronger the damage. Cakewalk, 5 out of 5. The lower the opponent's speed stat is, the stronger the damage. Hilbert's Aim, you unlock 1 at 5 out of 5. You have 1 as a passive skill. Gives the opponent a rebuff of whatever type they're weak to. But then take note that the opponent has to be bug type for the Hilbert's Aim to work for the sync move. Has to be bug type. Then you got a super effective up next effect, which you can use with the trainer move, if I'm not mistaken, for that to happen. And then you got Brain Teaser, Hilbert's Aim. You know, just look at the things for yourself. I'll go to his Signature Hilda, Rising Tide, good multiplier. Super effective up next. Scorching Sting if the opponent's burned. Searing Shot, super duper effective 3. You got physical moves up next effect as well as special moves up next effect together at 3 out of 5 if you use her trainer move, if I'm not mistaken. And then Hugh over here is the weird one. Again, relies on luck so that you do not receive the recall damage. But he's a normal type. Nobody's gonna be weak against him. But you have Haymaker and Sync Power Flux for the sync move multipliers. I wish Hugh has, you know, Soften Up 1. I think that will be helpful for him. Signature N, Demoralizing Sync 6 if the opponent's special attack, I think, is lowered. You get to land stronger damage. Dirty Sync if the opponent is afflicted by a status condition. Super effective up next. From doing Be Noble Roar, if I'm not mistaken. Physical moves up next effect also from Be Noble Roar. And then you got Call Rest, Dizzying Power if the opponent is lowered in accuracy. You got Static Shock if the opponent is paralyzed. Built-in Paralysis, Towering Force. The higher the defense stat is, the stronger the attack or the sync move becomes. Now, I did not compute the numbers as some of you suggested in the past. It will be reserved for the scout or skip video for each one. Plus, it really eats up time. So I wanted to bring this video as early to you guys as possible. So in terms of these sync pairs, you know, Signature Hilda, Signature Hilbert, Signature N are limited. Easy to trigger multipliers for Signature Hilda. Signature Hilbert, honestly, haiyah. The 5 out of 5 requirement for him is such an irritating thing. Again, you do not need that, but you get multipliers at 5 out of 5, and multipliers are good. At least for Signature Hilda, no multipliers are at 5 out of 5. Signature N, okay, I guess. Strange, but cool outfit. And Hugh, just reckless. I'm actually curious about how Hugh works. So I probably will 6-star EX him and showcase it in battle, but Colress is another weird one. So, who, you know, it's hard to suggest who to scout for now. If you watch my How Many Gems Can We Get video, we do not get a lot. We got 6 limited units. 6. Who are the other 3? Who are the other 3? There's only 3 here, right? Well, you got this. we got the EV Day Celebration Triple Feature Variety Scout. And for those who are questioning me, hey, aren't they Spotlight Scouts? Well, read this. Variety sync pairs are sync pairs that will appear for a limited time during this Variety Scout. There's a possibility that they will appear outside of this Variety Scout in the future. A possibility, but not at the moment. And how do we say that they are limited units as well? Because their names technically say EV Day. So, will they make it outside EV Day? Probably not. Probably the next EV Day. Are they gonna release more EVs on December 21? I don't know. Or is EV Day every single November 21? What the heck is EV Day anyway? November 21. What the heck? Wait, let me, I'm very curious now. EV Day. Google. EV Day. EV Day is on... They invented this. EV Day now officially recognized in Japan as a day to... On November 21. Oh, it's November 21. Also, November 21 is actually... EV Day started on 2018. November 21, 2018. So we can expect now, every single year, November 21, we might get more EVs. And it's gonna happen at least 2 more times. Right? We're missing Espeon. Wait. Glaceon. A lot. I don't wanna count anymore. Umbreon. Sylveon. Wait, we do have Sylveon, but it's gonna happen at least 1 more year. At least 1 more year. Then suddenly they throw in a shiny Eevee. Because why not? So DNA, the creators of Pokemon Masters, probably has their mindset already as to what sync pairs that we'll be having. And you know, we had confirmations at least that we are having a sync pair coming from Kalos. For those who don't know, I will not be saying that now. A voice actor actually said that she is voicing a specific character. There are leaks, or there have been leaks, deleted leaks now, that the sync pairs or the seasonal sync pairs from January next year. So, you know, the mindset, the plan has already been laid out. And as of you guys have been telling in the comment section, you do not like the direction that DNA is taking in this game. Normal gem counts, you know, not increasing in number. Same number of candy coins received, but more and more limited time sync pairs. You do not like where this game is going. You are seeing that the game is collapsing. I told you guys, you do not want to believe me. And now you're saying it for yourself, that you're seeing the downfall of this game happening. Well, if you guys want it to stop, it's about time that you guys leave feedback. If you don't care about the game, then it's fine, you can just ignore it. But I guess right now, if you care about Pokemon Masters, staying for at least 1 or 2 more years, or maybe more, now is the time to let DNA know that what they are doing is wrong. Now is that time to leave feedback. And how do you leave feedback? Just go to your Poryphone menu over here. I'm not sure. Let me just lower the brightness of this phone so you guys can see. Poryphone menu over here. You go to Other. You go to Customer Support. And from there, you leave feedback. Tell them that what they are doing is wrong. Tell them that free-to-play players are suffering. The collectors are suffering very badly. The whalers probably don't care. They're probably happy that their investment is so worth it now. But at this rate, more and more people are gonna quit the game. Maybe some of you are gonna quit the game. And it's sad if that happens. I've seen a lot of people that play this game before quit already. Some of my fellow YouTubers have already quit the game. It's sad to see this direction. Hopefully, this game corrects itself in the future and becomes very free-to-play friendly like how it was. Not in the very beginning, but you know, in the beginning it was messed up, then they fixed it, and now it's going downhill one more time. But this one, these sync pairs, if I have time, I'm gonna discuss them in depth. But now I don't exactly have a lot of time to do that. So I'm gonna save the discussion for in the future, whatever. I'm gonna try and scout for them though, but really, honestly, don't like the idea of this one. But that out of the way, you should scout for your faves only instead of the meta now that you do not have enough gems. If you have a lot of gems, then congratulations, good for you. But if you don't have enough gems, well, either skip everything or scout for your faves. Do you even have enough gems to scout for your faves until now? Well, hopefully you do, because DNA is becoming very greedy. Very, very greedy. I discussed the new gem bundles that are coming out. One of them is good, but depends on the price if it's actually good or not. But I'm done. You can check out my how many gems can we get and rant there if you want to know how little gems we're receiving for the month of November versus the 6 limited units that we have for this update. But that, hit the thumbs up. It took more than 1 hour to speak. More than 20 hours to do this video. I sacrificed my class earlier just to finish this because I really want to get this out of my system now. It's important for you guys to know and to leave feedback right now. So go do it. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, because, you know, real, whatchamacallit, real, effective, accurate Pokemon Master stuff for you guys. So, thank you, as usual, to my awesome members who've been supporting me. If you want to take the support a little step further, you can check or click on the join button and join my awesome members up here. Thank you very much, Shadowphil, Marokman, Takman, Shidovods, Alcin, Roy, Luca, Jeremy, Sassari, Marcella, Arima, Iwiz, Tatsuya Gold, Apsaras Gaming, and TechMech for your support. Really appreciate it. Some of you are almost reaching 2 years of support. I thank you so very much. Thank you. That said, let's get to 10K and let me end this video right now. It's getting far too long. This is Sol, also known as Spielgum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. You're this Team Skull Grunt. And I will see you in the next video. Right.